us as my main people over what has been going on in the last few days in particular. At first I thought it was something that somebody should keep silent over, but it is a popular saying that bad men rule only because the good ones don't want to get involved. And it's also most terrible when we see the way some of our supposed leaders have continued to decimate the polity. And I said, let me just stop quickly. My main reason for asking, the judgment is in the public domain, so I don't want to beg issues over the judgment. What I actually want to talk about is the seeming unashamed display of the likes of Mr. Yeson Wike. There is a saying in Benin. He said, when the eyebrow grows, when the hair grows, we still know where the eyebrow passes. And it has become a very terrible issue. So I said that we address this as quickly as possible. You see, I hope we're recording. Yes, I'm recording. I'm trying to record. Okay. It is important that we call Barrister Yeson Wike to order. And I just told myself that there is a limit to the continued brigadage of a man who should be grateful to God. Chino Achebe in his Things Fall Apart once warned all of us. It's a warning. He said those whose knots have been cracked for them by benevolent spirits should not forget to be humble. But someone like Yeson Wike, which are a disgrace to these people of the South, has continued to overstretch his band of luck. For him to go to the extent of asking, in spite of his almost serial display of lechery, serial display of betrayal, serial display of uncouth pseudo-intellectualism, he should be grateful. And I told myself I will talk to you. First and foremost, who is Barrister Yeson Wike? Nobody. Maybe like me, maybe like you, maybe like a lot of us, who rode on the sore-reading backs of the electorate of Rivers State to national prominence and betrayed everybody along the way that had brought him to where he is, from being a motor park tout somewhere in Port Harcourt to becoming a local government chairman, and then becoming a minister of state, and becoming a governor of Rivers State, and now the minister of the Federal Capital Territory. And all he has displayed along the way is unbridled garrulousness, a very unearthly lack of humility. All he does now is insult all those who might have helped him achieve to get to where he's got to. That's why I started with Chino Achebe, that those whose knots were cracked for them by benevolent spirits should not forget to be humble. We have a problem in Nigeria, a problem that whether we like it or not, we must tell ourselves the truth. The truth of the matter is today, Nigeria witnessed the most dastardly election in its history. And we are the laughingstock of the Committee of Nations, to the extent that even those we used to refer to as banana republics are now using us as examples of how not to run elections. Mr. Yeson Wike is a beneficiary of that rogue process. Not stopping there, Mr. Yeson Wike has turned politics into his own personal playground. He has turned almost the entire People's Democratic Party and its structures on its head. He is the most rewarded betrayer in the history of our recent politics. Just look at it. From his time with Rotimi Amechi, to his time with Goodluck Jonathan, to his former references to Peter Odili, to his time with Atiku Abubakar, and now his time with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I'm very sure Bola Tinubu is not a fool, or those around him are not fools. They know that once you can betray all those who you have betrayed before, then you are just a pointed dagger waiting to strike the next person who is the beneficiary of your most recent betrayal. It is not hidden knowledge that the only thing that Yeson Wike is interested in is becoming the president of our country. And anything that seems to have stood or seems to stand, wittingly or otherwise, in his quest, in his achieving that quest, will be flushed away. And that is what he's been doing. What we are going to see now, I can bet you, is a decimation. He's fighting to decimate the PDP so that he can now also decimate the APC and create a vehicle for himself to run in 2027. But we are not stupid. For someone like Nyesom Wike, who has plotted a graph from the time he supported Secondus, so as to arrest the structures of the party. And then he opposed and forced the removal of Secondus because he knows that as the chairman of the party is from his own local government area and senatorial district, it is bye-bye to his running for presidency. He ran for that same presidency and lost in the public domain. He swore to support whoever won in the public domain. He reneged on every point along the way. Today, Nyesom Wike upturned the collective will and patrimony of the Rivers people and gave in the public domain, we all saw it, an unmerited victory to a rogue party called the APC. A party he had said was a party populated by people with cancer. A party that he stood in the public domain to denounce like jumping from fry pan to fire. Today now, he's hobnobbing with the hell demons of that fireplace. And he had the temerity. I even wonder what kind of maraga or what kind of drug Nyesom Wike is on. And someone has to call him to order because continuous verbal diarrhea, continuous vituperations of stupid logic in the public domain does not make a statesman. It just makes him an elevated admiral. That is what he is. And I think time has come for the People's Democratic Party and all those who want to strengthen the ethos of democracy in Nigeria to see Nyesom Wike for who and what he really is. A man who rode on the sorry backs of many who supported him so as to achieve his own personal gain. He's the only one that is minister for FCT, not other person. So I just felt that the time has come for us to sit down and actually look at it, to beam the searchlight on Nyesom Wike. He is brave enough to come to the public domain to say that PDP, a party founded in 1998, to say that he is the sole financier of the party. A party where he became governor in a state where Otili had already been governor for 8 years under the party, where Rotimi Amechi had been governor for 7 years under the party before defecting in the last year to the APC. A state where he was a local government chairman when the party was already almost 8 years old. So we have to ask ourselves, is he so dull? Is he such a bad student of history, or doesn't he know how to read? A man who now comes up to say that Atiku, our 2 times presidential candidate, for whom he was a major campaigner in just 4 years down the line, should be expelled from the party. Wike, who did everything to decimate and pull down the very structures of the party. I actually feel sorry for a lot of those who are in the echelon of decision making within the PDP hierarchy. If I was the one, Nyesom Wike will be inconsequential, gone with the wind, and washed away into the garbage heap of our political yesterday. So I decided to talk to you on Nyesom Wike, for him to realize that the fact that he has become the most celebrated serial thief of the Commonwealth of the Rivers people does not mean that we will be celebrating thievery all our life. It is not hidden knowledge that a serial bunkerer is there sitting today as the FCT minister, and he has the temerity to vituperate himself in the public like someone who has verbal dysentery. And I said I will come and speak to the press, at least those who we believe still have the goodwill, and those who believe in the continuous oneness of this country, so as to call Wike to order. Because he keeps turning pebbles from his glass house. But I will quote Olarotimi again. He says, he who stones or pelts others with pebbles is asking for rocks in return. Yes, go ahead. Hello, Jukes. Go ahead.
Yes, just speaking.
Yes.
You called Wike a serial bunker.
Yes.
Can we verify this allegation? Because they have whether Tantita or the Navy have never mentioned as one of the bunkers. We have to guide ourselves against libel. How can we quantify him as a bunker? What evidence do you have?
No. I am not saying that you should qualify him. I am qualifying him. He's not the only one who goes on air to reel out allegations unsupported. I'm saying what is in the public, what is in the streets of Port Harcourt. What are people saying from even on social media? Where is Wike getting all the monies from? All the supposed monies from? What was Wike's bank balance before he became governor? What was Wike's earnings? What was his job? What was his trade since he left law school? I just said now, apart from collecting money on the streets for the Nigerian Union of Road Transport Workers, Agbero, I said he should just be humble. It is his lack of humility that is bringing out some of these things. If you want to accuse somebody of libel right now, it is me, not you, really.
Let me just ask you this question, sir.
Okay.
Wike has suggested
yes.
that Atiku should be expelled from the party.
Yes.
Why do you think Atiku should not be expelled?
Why do I think Atiku should not be expelled?
Question. Yes.
I will answer that question by asking you. Hello? Azimazi?
Yes, sir, I'm listening.
Yeah, because your question is almost open. It's a leading question. You said Wike had made a suggestion. I don't think it was that wasn't a suggestion. He made a call for the expulsion of Atiku Abubakar. So it is supposed to be he who should tell us why Atiku Abubakar should be expelled from the party.
Okay.
You get my point? I am saying that the person who deserves to be expelled from the party is the man that is calling for the expulsion of others from the party. It is a litany in the public domain. Wike is the one who created a court within the party and called it the G5. Wike is the one who openly, against the will of the party and the structures of the party and the constitutions of the party, he is the one that campaigned against the party. If anybody had done anything anti-party, forget about anybody's personal whatever. It is Regis on Wike. He has fought every non-person within the party. If you remember, Matawale, former governor of Zamfara, cited him as the reason for leaving the party. If you remember, Umahi cited him as the reason for leaving the party. If you remember, Professor Ayade cited him as the reason for leaving the party. Why is it that in the wake of Yeson Wike, he has become the proverbial tortoise in every bad story? Yes, I think Dirisu of the Punch is raising his hand.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Okay, Dirisu, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm listening to you, Hadi, and I've heard all you said. I just want to know, everyone, the other day was one of the aides of Atiku during the presidential election ceremony who said if he were in his hands, he would have expelled Wike from the party. You are saying the same thing.
Yes.
I'm not worried that the acting national chairman, who said that he wrote to when he was nominated for ministerial position, the acting national chairman is right. He's saying anything. Don't you think that these people actually have something that they are hiding? If someone accuses you of saying, why has the national chairman declared that either affirm or deny that he was rejected?
As a journalist and not as a political person, I am one to agree with you, sir, because your question does not actually beg an answer. But unfortunately, I am not in the minds of any of those persons. Mine is very clear. You see, I said before, when you stone others with small stone, you are asking for rocks in return. My immediate concern is my presidential flag bearer, whom I am his presidential campaign consultant and his director of strategy. Now, he would have concentrated his focus on those persons. Wike, unfortunately, crossed that line. He crossed that line and turned his satellite. He's been doing it since on the person, not on the candidacy of Atiku Abubakar. I'm not here to speak for the acting national chairman. I think if I am the acting national chairman, there will be no Jason Wike holding on directly to the tail of my party membership. That is the truth. But unfortunately, I don't want to talk about decisions I have absolutely no control over. It is Shakespeare that says that there is no art here to tell the mind's construction on the face. I don't want to. But for this one that he had said about, we are coming into the public now to defend the only person that is worth defending as long as this is concerned. Our party is fighting an existential battle over a stolen mandate by a band of political coupists. They have been backed now by the most uncanny judgment, the most unlegal judgment in the history of election petitions in Nigeria. That is not the time for a Yeson Wike to be stirring the hornet's nest. If not, the bees will be all over him like speckled dots on a leopard's hand. And that is what we are saying. Wike can continue to celebrate his serial betrayalship as much as he wants, but he should not be staining men of integrity, men of authority, men who legally got to where they got to. The men who openly defeated him in an open contest. And he goes ahead out of bile. I'm saying that his bile and anger is very simple. It's part of his graph, his long graph. Unfortunately, that graph was distorted by the candidacy of Atiku on the 28th to the 29th of May 2022. Ever since, Nyesom Wike has been howling like a beaten hyena. And that howling must stop, so that he understands that his verbal, I use the word verbal diarrhea, I be like a person when they shit with his mouth all over the place. That must stop. If the people of Rivers State have stomached his vituperations for 8 years on end, he should go to the corner of his FCT office and lick the spoils of his betrayal. But he should not continue to lacerate the People's Democratic Party. And the leadership that we stand to for itself. Hello, Chooks. Sorry, go ahead, sir. I'm listening. Hello,
are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Wike calling for expulsion of Atiku from the party is because he said that Atiku is a serial defector in the PDP. He defected to the AC, he defected to the ACN, he defected to the AP, and later came back. That because the PDP the victory in 2015, why would he not be expelled since he has caused the party too much hardship?
Chooks, you are a journalist, my brother. No, you are a journalist, my brother. Should I answer that, or you want to ask another question?
That was secondly.
Yes.
When all the members of the party have said that power should go to the south, Atiku insisted that he will contest. Why would
Chooks, I don't want to sound like a broken record. This is you are an Igbo man. This is the kind of propaganda platform that we accord people like Mr. Nyesom Wike in the public domain. Number one, this is very clear. Pedro, I was the one that did the documentary to prove that it was not the party. The party never said. When you say there, when everybody agreed, who agreed? The party never said that the power should come to the South. Never. Because it wasn't the turn of the South in the PDP, but it was the turn of the South in the APC. I did that documentary, which I know you have a copy, to show that since 1999, when Nigeria became a democracy, we have had 6 elections. And in the 6 elections of the PDP had given its presidential candidate 4 times out of that 6 to the South, 2 times to Obasanjo and 2 times to Goodluck Jonathan. And they've given it only 2 times out of 6 to the North, once to Yaradua and once to Atiku Abubakar. So I made the presentation to the governors in December 2021 in Asaba. Nyesom Wike there was no Atiku then. Nyesom Wike did not agree, because Nyesom Wike also knew. Nyesom Wike wanted, it is not the South, wanted a situation where we throw the primaries open. He wasn't campaigning. I was campaigning for the Northeast or the Southeast, because those are the only 2 parts of Nigeria that have never ruled our country since 1960, since January 15, 1966. Outside of the Southeast, that had a 6 months hiatus with General Aguiyi Ironsi. And that was the history. Nyesom Wike, however, knowing that he's just less than 106 kilometers away from Otuoke, in the home state of Goodluck Jonathan, he had no moral right or rectitude to want to run for president, when the immediate southern president and the last president of the PDP was from the same former Rivers State with him. Hence, he decided to get. I don't know whether you are getting my point. So this is how we must see this issue. Hello, sir. So Wike does not have the moral right. Wike was fighting a cause that was for himself, in an event to prepare the grounds for his eventual running. It is in the public domain. Wike made sure he fought Secondus, who was from his own place, to replace him with Iochai. Wike is the same Wike. Don't forget, we seem to. I thought that's why I said, Chooks, you are a journalist. The party set up a committee, and that committee, if we remember clearly, was headed by the then Benue State Governor, Mr. Otom. Otom was the one who did a press conference in the first week of May to declare that he, Autumn, is the one that declared that there will be no zoning for 2022 primaries. That was in Atiku Abubakar. That was why everybody ran. Because prior to then, the PDP had, this election we just done is our 7th election in our recent history. And in this 7th election, PDP had given his flag bearership prior to that 4 times to the South. We should not be, Wike has no right to drag us backwards. Meanwhile, since 1999, all the parties that came together to form the APC have given in their 6 elections their presidential flag bearer to the North. Why is PDP giving 2 out of 6 to the North a problem? Whether we like it or not, from the time of Umaru Shinkafi of the All People's Party down to AMPP with Mr. Buhari in 2003, Mr. Buhari in 2007, Mr. Buhari in 2011, Mr. Buhari in 2015, Mr. Buhari in 2019. Why is that a problem? Not a problem. So you should not join that narrative, Chooks, my brother. If we look at if it's a different thing, if Yeson Wike was fighting for a Southeast, because I did that and I said if we are going to zone, we must microzone to the Northeast and the Southeast. Because ever since Tafawa Balewa in 1966 and ever since Umunakwe Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi in 1966 July, no Southeasterner or Northeasterner from any of the 5 states of Indigo or any of the 6 states of the Northeast, whether it is Taraba, Yobe, Borno, Bauchi, Adamawa, none of them have been elected president of Nigeria. The PDP gives it to the Northeast, which is the only part of Nigeria outside of the Southeast whose leading member of leading contender had left the party 4 days. Peter Obi left the party on the 24th of May, 4 days to the primaries. Who is Wike hoodwink? And then he comes back after lifting the spoils of his betrayal of the party. And he has the temerity, I use the word again, temerity, to be talking, is it the only one that was a former governor? Where are all the other G5 governors? Where are all these Johnny men? All those who lost because Wike had decided to divide the party. Wike is the problem, or was the problem with the PDP. And to expel Wike now is a task that must be done by the PDP. That is the truth. So he calling for expulsion of an Atiku Abubakar. He's just trying to make a preemptive strike. And we will not we will not be hoodwinked by that.
All right, sir. I want to ask a question, sir.
Okay, that is Tony. Business day?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I'm listening.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. We have followed with keen interest all that has happened so far in PDP.
Yes, sir.
Now, Nigerians are asking, you don't cry over spilled milk. Everybody has seen what has happened. February election, yes. The general election that follows the Court of Appeal or the election tribunal.
Yes.
And people are not so confident that anything will come out, even when you go to Supreme Court. I mean, if you look at the way everything has gone so far, it's like a fait accompli. Now the question is, Nigerians are asking, what next for the party, the PDP? Atiku had been a foundation member of this party since 1998.
Yes, sir.
I first met Atiku at the Polo Ground in Jos, 1998.
Yes.
Yes, sir. When this party was about taking off. And he has been in the system, even though he has gone out and coming.
Yes.
Now that things have gone to this level, what does he intend to do to strengthen the party going forward, sir?
Okay. The first leg of this strengthening of the party is to give the people of all members of the party hope. A good leader must be a dealer in hope. Atiku Abubakar is a man who has shown that he's the bridge across the Niger. And we have decided, as at now, to pursue the legal angle to its logical conclusion as law-abiding citizens. We will not engage in any untoward behavior. but we will pursue this to its logical conclusion. Yoruba say, "Afẹ́fẹ́ ti fẹ́." It is when the wind blows that we see the anus of the fowl. Now the wind is blowing, and the judicial anus is all over the place, polluting the air of legal minds across the world. It is not the PDP that is on trial. It is not Waziri Adamawa Atiku Abubakar that is on trial. It is the Nigerian judiciary and their seeming lack of due process that is on trial. And it is with more. So what we are doing is to continue to strengthen the internal democracy within the party. And the first thing to do to strengthen that is to make sure this whole issue is pursued to its logical conclusion. You know, it is not over until it is over. So we have decided that as at now, our leader, the Waziri Adamawa, is standing in pole position to continue to challenge this illegitimate. You have even said it yourself, that we have all seen what has happened. You see, anybody who sits down and does nothing will be crippling fast. He said to sit down and do nothing is to cripple fast. But so we will not sit down and do nothing. But at the same time, we will not do anything that is unlawful. We will not challenge anything that is legally put together. Even if those who have been given the reins to dispense justice in Nigeria have become seemingly the purveyors of injustice in the country. I am talking as Pedro now, as a participant in the Nigerian Commonwealth, as someone who believes in this country, who is been to jail because of my belief for this country, and who as a young man has fought in the trenches so as to ensure that there is democracy in this country, and who is still standing up to the powers that be and their leeches and low-level journeymen, that everybody in Nigeria, wherever you are from, whether you are from Kara Namuda, you are from Ikotek Bene, or you are from Obrubra, wherever you are from in this country belongs to all of us. Whether you are a Bachama, Hausa, Bini, Urobo, Isoko, Kere, wherever you are in this country, everybody must stand up. You see, Atiku is just one human being. Atiku cannot now begin to legislate how you react to the pain in the commonplace. How you react to all the things that has happened in just 3 months of unsolicited governance by the political buccaneers who have taken over our political space. But to sit down and not do anything is worse than sitting, fighting. They say, I hear this man fight, die. It's more honorable than I hear this man see fight, he don't enter bush. So we are not coward. We are not going to bow to the cowardly displays by the likes of Yeson Wike and their journeymen and their paymasters. We will not. So the party, the PDP, is beginning to see itself now as serial victims of the political chicanery of a few who have decided to hang us dry. But we will not go down. We will not go down without fight. That is just the truth.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Is that Chooks?
Yes, sir. No, it's Martin, sir.
Oh, Baba Martins. How is Daily Trust now, sir?
Oh, thank God, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I just want to just add briefly. Sorry, I've not been following. I don't know whether you have actually touched on that because of my network.
Okay.
But let me just add. I think why is the party for dragging, so to say, on the issue of Wike? Why can't they take a position? Because now is Wike in the APC or is in the PDP?
Yeah, let me ask. I will answer quickly. You know, there are two questions here. The first question is, why is the party foot dragging in dealing with Yeson Wike?
Yes.
And number two, what party is Wike now? I will start with the second one. Wike is a... Yes.
Add to it, sir. I want to add to it.
Yes.
I've asked these questions. I mean, Tony will know that I've asked these questions before. Now in our own private discussion. Who is Wike that is... He looks bigger than PDP. That PDP cannot speak to him, either by way of expulsion, by way of going to court, if there's still a court in Nigeria, or by way of saying to him, join APC and not first, leave us alone. Why?
Okay.
Why is this so difficult?
Okay. I will start at the end so that we move to the beginning. Number one, Wike is a member of the APC. Wike is a sitting minister of an APC government. Wike openly campaigned against the PDP. Is it by their fruits we shall know them? Don't talk to me. It's your action. If it was in literature now, we say what are his character traits? What has he said? What did he say? What has he done? So that you can write his character trait. by all intents and to all purposes, Wike is not a member of the PDP. However, if you remember clearly, just a few months to the election, Barrister Nyesom Wike, the then governor of Rivers State, ran to the court to get an injunction to preclude and stop the PDP from expelling him from the party. If he was so untouchable, if he was so bigger than the entire party machinery, why did he do that? And whether we like it or not, you see, I want to say this very slowly. Wike is a Mephistopheles, he's Satan's lieutenant, and he understands the role that certain buybacks will do. So maybe that is what reduced the propensity for leaders of the party to do the needful. And also, because many of them are doves, men of peace, not everybody is a hawk like Wike. Let us see whether maybe he will come around. Let us see this election goes and we win, and then maybe he will turn around. Because the PDP is not a party of brigands. Wike, by his elemental behavior, Wike, by his unending vituperations, fits more into the category and behavioral attitude and patterns of an APC. So Wike is APC. As for the party not suspending or expelling him before now, I've quoted the court injunction, but he has violated every other thing going forward. And to borrow from my brother, my co-director and senior brother, Edele Momodu, that if some of us were in charge of the party as it is today, Wike will not even have the moral rectitude to go on air to start talking about a party he's so singularly in the last 1 year decimated and bastardized. That is the truth. So Wike is not a member of our party. As we sit today, you see, one of you mentioned earlier, I think it was Chooks that said, Wike said he told the acting chairman. I am not here to speak for the acting chairman. But the fact that he runs to the public domain to say that, where is the letter he wrote? How is it? Where is it? What will even be the I don't know whether this, I don't want to insult anybody in the public domain. Let me just keep to the facts. And the facts are clear. As of today, Wike is coming out to ask for the expulsion of the number one leader of the party and the presidential flag bearer of the party, and to many of us, the real recipient of the mandate of the Nigerian peoples, as declared in the INEC submission that we want 21 states, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, to be expelled from the party. He has crossed the red line, and right now, Wike should be ready. I mean, he has all the money, both obtained and stolen, to fight us back, because we are coming at him like 1,000 bricks. He has unleashed the dogs of war, and we will not sit back and watch him continue to ride roughshod over the party and the majority of Nigerians like he did for 8 years over the humility of the Rivers people. That can no longer suffice. As we so speak, I'm sure Nyesom Wike went to law school. I'm sure Nyesom Wike was a lawyer, and he knows this quote I'm going to quote. He says, "Si vis pacem para bellum." He that is ready for peace should prepare for war. And Nyesom Wike has touched the tiger's tail. Let him wait. We only know, the only extensional advice I'm going to give is that those who have employed his dastardly betrayal and chicanery in the APC should watch their backs, because the rain may beat the leopard, but it cannot wash off its spots. The spots that is speckled all over Nyesom Wike are the spots of disharmony, betrayal, use and dump, messing up people, insults, lack of humility, uncouth verbal vituperation akin to a man who is saddled with pseudo knowledge. That is what Wike is. A badly trained, badly brought up young man who unfortunately has ridden and dealt with those who cracked his knocks for him, and that is exactly what Nigerians will see. We pray to God to give him long life, so that he will see that the Nigeria of the dream of our past leaders will come to pass in spite of the larceny of the likes of Nyesom Wike and his collective journeymen. That is the truth. My name is Pedro Obaseki, and I know who I am. I know what I am. Unfortunately, we are forced to say this in the public domain because of a man who knows not what he is and knows not who he is. That is the truth.